Hi, guys. We are here for our lovely weekly energy forecast with me, intuitive and medium Marisa Liza Pell. If I haven't ever met you before, hi. We do these weekly updates and energy updates so you know when the best times are to make your decisions, stay away from certain times, stay away from certain areas, stay away from certain things, or to put your all into something. So we are glad to be bringing you this. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Make sure you comment and say hello to me live so I can say hi back. So I want to get right into it today because there's so much going on in the cosmos. And this is such a time of shifting and transformation in the fall. We have always have the leaves dropping and energy and renewal and letting go of things and releasing things. And remember, I told you a few weeks ago that you've been in limbo with certain big life decisions for like the past 3 years, right? So um, I told you, and these are big decisions. These are like marriage decisions, long-term relationship decisions, major career decisions. Like, are you going to stay in your career that you've been in forever? Or are you going to change? Big moves, like big moves out of state or big moves where you have to kind of move your whole life. These three sectors of life have been really impacted in the last 3 years. And for most of you, it was like going back and forth for a few years trying to make those decisions. These were decisions that put you into places where you maybe had to sign some paperwork, do a couple different things. And some of these things just are coming to a head. So when you were in your other vibration, you may have started some projects or started something moving forward, which now that you're at a new vibration and a new frequency, if you've done a lot of your inner work during the pandemic, like we have talked about, and you've done a lot of your transformation, then you are at a different frequency, meaning you're attracting different things into your life and you are not aligned with the energies that you used to be aligned with. So it's so important that you understand that last week, the universe did decide to close some doors. And these were on very big, important decisions that may have been kind of like a push and pull situation for at least 3 years, but definitely for the last 6 months and the last year and a half, the last 6 to 3 months being a little more intense. So you didn't actually have to do anything. These decisions were made for you. So whatever wasn't supposed to be in your life last week, suddenly, sometimes on one day of last week, a lot of people have emailed me and called saying, okay, yeah, these things did come to an end. But the good thing about it is that you're in a new vibration, new frequency, and you're going where the universe kind of wants you to go when you're needed to go at this point in time. So, what is ended up happening is then when we have all these closings, these endings, or what people would think of as losses, I think of them as the universe is just making a choice for you because you couldn't do it, and you need to move forward. And actually, when we have a bunch of these losses in these major life areas or these endings or these closings or the universe closing doors, and they're like, no, I'm not only closing the door, the universe is saying, like, I'm bolting it shut. You're not doing this. Like, you're not going down this path. Even if you wanted to, you're like, people made decisions for you. They're calling you and telling you, you can't come back here. Okay. Even if you tried, you are no longer in control of those decisions. The universe made the decision for you. And guess what? Usually in other time periods of life, other times in life, these would have brought you down to your knees to where you were grieving, crying, feeling it, being depressed. And for some reason, if you think about it, last week when a lot of these doors were closing or you made decisions for the doors to close, if they didn't close on their own, there's no emotion attached to it. There's no feeling of loss. There's no feeling that you've, even if you've invested a lot of time into these situations, it's kind of like you've already reached that acceptance that things are kind of like have to go. And there's no emotion attached to these endings, which is great. Isn't it great where you don't have to like have these big emotional reactions when things do come to a close? So this week is all about like tying up those loose ends and getting done with the practicalities of all those things that you decided to, or not you, because if you were in limbo with those, the decisions were made for you. We are tailoring down, you're pruning your tree, And now it's like, it's instead of all this stuff going on, now you just have a couple different things going on, and they're the right things that are going on. So there's no emotion attached to these endings, these what I call new beginnings, places for you to move forward. And now all you have to do in the next couple of days is tie up those loose ends and focus on making sure they're tied up well, so that you could finally look into the new beginnings. Now, for now, we're just going to settle into the emotion of it all, and realize like that the endings had to happen, but it's like your emotions really need to be with where you need to go next. So I don't want you to end these things, then start a new project, start a new relationship, start a new thing, or start a new journey. There needs to be some processing time. So your emotions may not feel like they're in depth as far as what just ended, but it's more the emotions of where do I want to be? Like that's where your grief is. That's where these transitions are. That's where you're feeling that depth of emotion the most, is where you have to go. And kind of feeling that grief within your spirit to know that you have to go to places that you didn't ever think you had to go. And you know what? It's time for you to go to those places yourself. Like you don't need anybody else to bring you to these places. You don't need to bring anyone else with you. You don't need to have the kick, drag, drop it off sale of the local car dealership. You know how they have those like, oh, push, pull, drag it in, all the junk. No, you're going to leave people to their own paths. You're going to let them live their own life. You're going to let other people have their own decisions, and you're not going to try to control anything anymore, because you tried that for the last 3 years, the situations that ended or that came to an end last week. All your emotions have already been processed with this, that you took so long to make these decisions. The universe had to make them. Now you're almost just in an acceptance, like, okay, both feet are here. And the emotions now, those deep emotions that are coming up, that sadness, there's going to be a lot of sadness right now that comes up with you guys. A lot of really deep emotions. You're going to feel really sensitive, really vulnerable, really needy almost, of like love, care, support, nurturing, compassion from other people. And the problem is they're going to be in the same state as you. So it's like you might not get that from other people, like on the external. You might not get that that from another person. And it's almost like you got to figure out how to give that to yourself right now. And kind of like giving it to yourself is realizing the path that you need to be on. That's what's giving it to yourself. It's like you spend so much time worrying about other people's paths and other people's decisions and what you had to be for other people and how you had to be there, where you lost that focus on yourself. And now that a bunch of things are off your plate and final decisions are being made and you're tying up those practical loose ends, facing those emotions is the next step before you take the next action to the big sector of life that you have to transition in or transform in, whether that is a relationship, a new career, or a move. Those big 3 areas of transition are kind of going to be the focus of the next 3 months. And when January hits, and I want you guys that if you're not subscribed to my monthly energy forecast, it goes out on the 15th of November, the 15th of every month. And there's a link in the description of this video where you want to just put your email on it. You will get notified when I'm going live with the weeklies, so you won't miss one. And you'll also get my monthlies, which are not public. You have to be on my email list to get those. They are privately linked. So make sure that you're on the list before November 15th, or you will not get it. And it is free. There's no like subscription to it, but I go over every day of the month and kind of people put it in their planners, like stay away from this day, go forward with taking this action this day. We're looking at the energies of every day. But for this week, I want you guys to really, really focus on feeling where those emotions are coming from and where you have to grieve. And it usually has to do with your life and where it's headed and where it wasn't headed for a long time. You have to just accept that it wasn't headed where it was supposed to be. And now you're going where you're supposed to be. And you're going to have to finally love and care for yourself. So, and I'm not talking about like in a weird way, but where you're making those decisions to do things that make you happy. All right. So I am so excited to see you guys. I just want to say hi. Ann Nober, how are you? I'm starting to look for a job currently after taking the summer off. My anxiety feels like it's blocking me to move on. I guess I'm picky to where I go this time around, but I'm working on it. Yet, like I said, Ann Nober, this is not the time to take action. Let that anxiety let that anxiety play itself out and figure out get curious about that anxiety. Where is it coming from? Okay. And don't think about taking the next action or worry about analytically taking that next action right now, because you're not going to have that answer, because you need to be in the emotion of grieving what was lost, okay, or the transitions that you didn't take in your life. Okay, Eileen, how are you? Nice to see you here. Hi, Tim. Let's see. Eileen, you quit your job. Your last day is Friday. Feels amazing. Exactly. Last week, made those final decisions. Take a little break before you decide where you're going next. You will have that time. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Lori. Hi, Darlene. Happy November to you as well. We are November 1st. Big change of energy. Hi, Sandy. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, I will see you guys next week. And remember, just go on the weekly energy forecast or get your monthly energy forecast to get notified on your email when I'm going live. So if you're not subscribed on YouTube, if you subscribe on YouTube as well as Facebook, what YouTube does is they send you an email when I'm going live, so you guys can interact right then and there and not just give you a replay after. So make sure that you subscribe. All right. And I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. And just with this energy forecast, it's going to be a little like you're taking it in. You're like, okay, but it goes a little deeper. So I want you to kind of watch this energy forecast maybe twice, maybe 3 times, because there's a deeper message to it for you. Okay. So I'll see you next week. Have a great week, guys.